Fani Willis, okay. So this is ridiculous. She should have been taken off the Trump conspiracy case already. I mean, there's no doubt there's misbehavior here all day long. There's no doubt about it. Now, the judge who has to make the decision, and we understand that the closing argument is going to be Friday, the decision will be made next week. He's running for re-election in Fulton County, and it's a black county. And he boots Fani, and what do you think? So Fani might survive this because of politics once again. But Fani and her boyfriend, this is so crazy. Nathan Wade, who has no experience, but she appointed him to investigate the conspiracy charges against Trump and 18 others. You know, I mean, come on. It's ridiculous. The whole thing is absurd. Here's what the governor of Georgia said on News Nation. Go.
Well, I got to be careful about what I say here because I was subpoenaed by Fani Willis and the special grand jury. But it's hard to believe that a process that I think many people, including myself, believe is very political, regardless of the merits behind the case, has gotten even more political now because of her actions and those of Mr. Wade and others.
All right, keep in mind that the governor could fire Fani Willis. Let's keep that in mind. He might be subpoenaed. He might have testified. Whatever, you'd fire. I'm the governor. You know, Fani's on vacation with her boyfriend. That's where she is right now. Okay, so an interesting part of this case has been underreported, but not by Just the News, which is an internet operation, and I hope you're familiar with it. That's John Solomon. I've been on his show. He's been on my show. And so apparently, Fani sent Nathan to the White House twice, and maybe Fani herself went to the White House. So what's that all about? Press has ignored it totally, but Just the News has filed a Freedom of Information Act to find out what that was all about, and John Solomon joins us now from Washington, D.C. So I have that right? Is that what you did?
You did. We filed a lawsuit this week with the help of the America First Legal nonprofit law firm. And our goal is to get all communications between Fani Willis's office and the White House regarding this prosecution. And the reason we have, there's strong reason to believe that there were these White House contacts. Why? Because there are billing records where Nathan Wade and his team bill for two meetings, one apparently in Washington at the White House, one in Augusta, Georgia, right, where the Masters golf course is often held. And there is no explanation for what it is. And then in a ancillary court hearing, they revealed that there were at least two documents of communications between the Biden White House and Fani Willis regarding the case. So we put a Freedom of Information Act request in. They came back and said, we don't have anything. And we said, well, you said in court you had something. You have billing records. So we're going to court now to force the disclosure of these records. And it's important because this fact pattern that we have here is still a little vague. But if we can get to the document, it matches exactly what happened in the Jack Smith case. If you remember about a year ago, I think you, Bill, and I, we talked about this. There is a moment where the Biden White House counsel tells the National Archives, sic the FBI on Donald Trump over these classified documents. There's a very specific memo. It says, please give the evidence to the FBI. That initiates the FBI investigation that ultimately becomes the Jack Smith prosecutor. In all my years in Washington, I can't remember a time where a sitting White House, a sitting president, asked a federal agency to go report their chief political rival to the FBI to get an investigation started. So we already have that in fact and evidence, and now we've got these unusual White House contacts with a local prosecutor pursuing their chief political rival.
Okay. The White House, as you know, keeps logs of everybody who comes in and who they visit and how long they stay. Is that part of the FOIA request? Because then you could get Nathan, you know, was he there? Who did he see?
The Biden White House makes those logs available publicly. The names do not show up. So the assumption we have is that these meetings were not in the White House. They could be outside the White House. Clearly, a meeting in Augusta, Georgia is a long way from the White House. So the operating assumption we have from the facts that we have in evidence right now is that maybe these meetings were off campus somewhere where the Secret Service logs do not cover them.
We don't know if anybody from Fani Willis's office actually went into the White House, but the guy billed the state of Georgia for a trip to D.C., But how did we get White House out of that? Did he say, I met with White House officials?
Yeah, it's marked as a White House meeting. That's what it's marked
Wow.
as. And then there's a separate one as a meeting in Augusta, Georgia. So we're
with
trying
White
to
House
pursue both of
officials
those.
there? With White
Yes,
House
he uses the term White House. Yeah, he uses the term White House. So
that wasn't
we'll find
very
out what that means.
That wasn't very smart of him.
Yeah, it wasn't. Well, after watching him on the stand, there's a lot of indiscretions that this man is going to be answering for, I think.
Yeah.
One of the most important things is that in a court question and answer moment, they do acknowledge that they have 2 documents from the Biden White House. They didn't describe them further other than to say that there are 2 documents that came or were derived from the Biden White House. That's part of our lawsuit. We want those documents. We want anything having to do with setting up these meetings, what was discussed in the meeting, what the follow-up with the meeting is.
Why would a low-level guy like that be meeting with a White House official about what? So that's a big story. And, of course, I don't know of anybody but you that's really aggressively pursuing it, right?
Not yet. No. I hope others follow us.
I don't think Fox News has done it. And that brings me to Fatima Graves. Now, I told Ted Cruz and a bunch of other senators and congresspeople that the wife of Matthew Graves, the U.S. attorney in Washington, D.C., who was in charge of Hunter Biden's initial investigation and wouldn't take it, wouldn't do anything about it, has gone to the White House more than 20 times. Now, from my investigation, some of that had to do with Kamala Harris. Because apparently Fatima Graves is a buddy of Kamala Harris, but she went there, and we don't know why. Why would the wife of a U.S. attorney involved in the Hunter Biden investigation go over to the White House more than 20 times? So I'd like you guys to get on that story.
We are. After we talked earlier this week, I've got 2 reporters now on that. We have some Freedom of Information Act requests we've sent to the Justice Department. FOIA, White House is exempt from FOIA, but we're working through the logs to see what other things happened around the time of these meetings, to see if there's some topical meetings that are going on. Is it Hunter Biden? Does Hunter Biden's lawyers come in around the time? We are deep in a dive on that, and we will stay on that. That is a great lead that we got from you, Bill.
I appreciate that, John. I wish I could do it, but I don't have the staff that you have, and I'm not in D.C. Last question. How long does it usually take for the FOIA requests to be adjudicated finally? How long does it take?
In federal court, it can be years. I have FOIA still pending from 18 and 19 that I'm litigating right now.
Wow.
In state law, like Georgia's a very favorable open records law. And so we could theoretically see a resolution to this in the next 3 to 6 months, certainly before the election and probably before the summer. We feel very optimistic that we can get initial information discovery and the original documents out. That may result in more FOIAs, more discovery, but we think this will be wrapped up by the summer.
All right, John. Thanks very much. We appreciate it. Keep us posted on all fronts. And
Will do,
again.
Bill. Thank you.